Now that you've already gone through the motions of Headmaster's salmon noodle soup, we're going to take a look at the salmon noodle stir fry here. This should be very easy at this point because in the first video, if you prepped for two, you already have your mise en place accomplished. So we're using the same ingredients. We're going to showcase how to do a serving of this delicious noodle stir fry. Now we are using a finishing sauce, the orange tamari stir fry. That's available to you on my website at kcknh.com. And if you have any questions, just reach out. So we are using fresh salmon stock that was featured in the first video. And you should aim for about 2 to 3 cups of your favorite stir-fry vegetables. So mise en place is wicked important. And your future stock that you already made can be frozen up to 3 months. Now here is a list of the ingredients. It's the same list from the soup video. You don't have to use MSG. If you have no issues with gluten, go ahead and use soy sauce. Otherwise, to keep it gluten-free, you can use tamari or the orange tamari sauce from my website. And to make that salmon stock, please visit kcknh.com. Select Headmaster's Salmon Noodle Soup post for the details. Now, we're just going to revisit the noodles and vegetable prep. Very important that we want to concentrate on the ginger and garlic being 2.5 ounces. Now, if you're just looking at this after making the soup, you don't have to re-prep this, you've already done it. But you want to aim for 6 to 8 ounces of vegetables per person. And this is where everything from the first video comes together. The same thing goes with your glass noodles. You should already have had these cooked. Otherwise, just be very careful when you go to cook them with this. They're very elastic, so definitely pay attention to how long you're cooking them. Now, stir fry is all about the mise en place. It's the only way you can execute it without losing the sanity. You can use whatever vegetables you prefer. Just be mindful that the cuts need to be relatively the same, or you have to be able to stage when to toss in the vegetables. So with onions, I actually prefer red onions. I love them, and I have a lot of them. For me, personal preference with the zucchini, even in a stir fry, I'm going to core it out. We're going to get rid of the innards, so we're just dealing with zucchini flesh and skin. And we're going to keep the cuts as universal as possible, because ultimately we want everything to come up at the same time as far as your cooking time. We want to still have a little bit of a bite from that stir fry process. A stir fry certainly allows you to make choices for yourself. Some folks I know love to have broccoli tossed in. Others, I've seen some really small cauliflower that they've diced up. It's entirely up to you. This is where it's very important you take note the cut sizes, thickness, freshness. You have to get it as fresh as possible. But if you got some veggies on the way out the door, this is a perfect way to use everything so you don't have any waste. But the definite common denominator about any dish, but more particular with soups and stir fries, you gotta prep everything ahead of time. It does seem like it's a lot of work. However, if you consider by doing the work ahead of time, that's your mise en place, executing this when it comes time to start cooking, this is gonna fly right by. And it really does come together fast. So try to keep that in mind as you're going through the process of the prep work. Now we're talking garlic and ginger. Now, if you did the first video and prepped everything, you already have the garlic prepped. It was designed to weigh out 2.5 ounces of your garlic and ginger, and it was going to be split in half between the 1 bowl of soup and the 1 noodle stir fry. However, not everyone likes garlic like I do. I like an insane amount, to be very truthful with you. However, you can still make this your own, so do it up your way and have fun with it, guys. Now, ginger, I do highly recommend you puree it. unless you're someone that likes the toothsome feel to it, go ahead and do a good dice on it and mince it down. But I really feel like ginger puree makes your life easier, and you can time it ahead of time at the very end so you still have this beautiful fragrant flavor. I like the little bit of a bite, the little smack to the face that you get from ginger. Our mise en place is now complete. We've got that set up for the bowl of salmon noodle stir fry here, as well as the ginger set aside. Now we can take a look at how we can pull this together and make your stir fry. So I do have a wok, but I wanted to show how you could still do this in a pan. Hit it with some oil. If you can handle peanut oil, great. I just personally, I'm not a fan of olive oil for a stir fry, but you could certainly use it. Now we do use MSG in my home. It's healthier for us. It's low sodium. So up to you if you want to use it. You don't have to, but it is good to have a little bit of kosher salt at least. So here I'm just breaking up some of the vegetables in the pan, just like I did when I made the soup video. I don't even feel the heat anymore. Now with white pepper, you just want to use it sparingly. It's pretty strong, but it's definitely a flavor enhancer. It's a beautiful flavor going into this dish. So ultimately, it's the same philosophy. We want to gently stir fry the vegetables. We want to see the color come out. And you're going to see the colors enhanced just watching this video here. Like I'm seeing some of the green become bolder, the yellow is coming out of the carrots. And only after a few minutes, we're hitting the pan with that ginger and tossing it around, because I want to get that up to temp. Now at this point, I'm going to start breaking down some salmon. I also had some haddock and I had some cod. I couldn't resist the deal on some of the fish tips we had at the store. So we're really bulking up this meal. But ultimately, you put your salmon in small chunks. And this is going to come up to temp wicked fast. That's why it's easier to cook your salmon ahead of time. And you had to do the stock anyway. So you want to use that meat that you harvested. So just toss it around in the pan so we can get everything coming up together. And we're only going to consider about 4 ounces of the salmon stock for this. This is so everything gets a nice little spa bath. And it ensures everything's coming up to temperature too. Now we're just going to make sure that we've got everything coated, everything covered. Now we're going to add our pre-cooked glass noodles. I have here approximately, believe it or not, 1 cup. A lot can be had with 1 cup. Now I have my orange tamari sauce here. You could certainly just use soy sauce if you're okay with gluten. You could do straight tamari as well. And this is where we're going to want to make sure the whole pan gets coated. And you can flip the pan around like I am, or you can use the spoon, whatever you're comfortable with. All right, guys, let's take a look. Look at this beautiful dish. Look at all the vegetables standing out in full bloom color. Even a little bok choy rose right there. I hope you give this dish a try. Thank you so much for watching. And of course, like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for joining me, guys. Glad to have you.